Hey Campagna T-Rex fans, Todd Kerber here. Today's subject, going to change the engine oil and oil filter in my 2007 1400R. First up, remove both GV bags so we can get to each side. Before we get started, I wanted to talk about 2 videos ago when I serviced my air filter. The next ride I went on, the RPM dropped to about 600 RPM at idle because of the increased airflow. I had to adjust that up so I didn't stall, and I wanted to show you how I did that. The throttle adjustment is right here. That dial goes up to the throttle body, and to increase the idle, just turn it clockwise, and to decrease counterclockwise. I like the 1200 RPM. Makes it a little bit easier not to stall your machine getting started in first gear. Next, I wanted to talk about my last video I did on the gear oil replacement in my reverse gearbox. Many of you reached out to me afterwards that I didn't have a magnetic drain plug. So I went ahead and picked up 2 of them. Most people tell me I don't need to put one in the top fill vent hole, but I'm going to. And of course the drain at the bottom, if you can see it right there, I'm going to go ahead and put those in now. If you remember, I had my gearbox oil a little high, so I'm going to keep the top bolt in and change the bottom real quick. And hopefully I lose just the right amount to be where I need it to be for the reverse gearbox not being too full of gear oil. Magnetic drain and fill bolts installed. Bolts are M12 by 1.25. Bolt heads use 14mm socket. Torque on the top is 14.5 foot-pounds, and on the bottom 22 foot-pounds. Next thing I want to talk about is the skid plate underneath the 2007 to 2012 models. Make sure you have the skid plate on yours, because right here, the drain bolt for the oil, when we get to it, is on the bottom. It does have a little hang down, if you will, for protection in front of it. But I have heard of instances where guys have hit speed bumps and knocked the oil drain bolt off and out. As you can imagine, if you are unaware of that, you're going to drain all the oil out of your engine and blow it up, seize it up, or worse, the oil will get underneath the back tire, going around a turn in traffic, and you'll get in a wreck. Speaking about losing control, I'll also tell you guys about an incident I had. This is a cooling hose right here. It is very close, as you can see, to the header. I didn't have on my last exhaust any kind of insulation wrap. When I changed my exhaust to single side Brock Shorty, I wrapped it because my radiator got fatigued and started leaking down there, and I changed that a long time ago, many years ago. And this rubber hose was never replaced, and because of the cycle getting really hot and cooling, it split along here while I was underway one day. My wife and I were in the T-Rex. I was driving very slowly, went around a turn, and completely did a 180. I went into the other lane of oncoming traffic. There was no car there, so I didn't hit anything. I was just in the middle of the road. So when I went to replace that line, I went with steel braid. That will never, ever, ever happen again. So while I'm under the machine, my 2007 did not come with this air flap underneath the vehicle. And I had a lot of cooling problems in the beginning. I installed a small Be Cool fan and engine ice, and somebody told me along the way that mine didn't have the flap on it. After I did it, it was good for another bar of cooling on my gauge, on my heat gauge. So if for some reason you guys with the older 2007, I don't know if the 2008 they started to add it, but mine did not have it from the factory. You absolutely want to add that. It basically forces air up into the radiator, scoops it off the ground. Getting to the task at hand, draining the engine oil. We've got to heat the oil, so I'm going to start up my machine. Run it for about 5 minutes to get everything warm. Good opportunity to hear the sound of the Brock's single side shorty. Love this exhaust. Loud and aggressive. Yeah, baby. Get your oil pan ready, and you'll need a 17mm socket to loosen it up and drain the oil. Remove the bolt. Engine oil draining. Let that drain until no more drops. Remove oil filter using this oil filter adapter. Oil filter draining. Let everything drain really good until there's no more oil coming out. Owner's manual calls for engine oil and filter to be replaced every 3,000 miles. While the engine and filter oil is draining on the other side, go ahead and pull the fill cap. Notice that mine is chrome. I have chrome accents on my machine. It's the little details that make the difference. There's a little O-ring on the underside. Don't lose it. Oil drip has almost stopped. Be patient, it does take a while. Recycle your engine oil. Don't dump it out on the ground. Put the drain plug back in. 15 foot-pounds of torque. Install new oil filter. I went with a chrome K&N 303C filter. I like this nut on the top, easy to torque down, 23 foot-pounds. I've got chrome accents on my machine, so it'll look better too. Don't forget to rub some oil before you put it on the O-ring. Chrome oil filter installed, looks good. Getting ready to put the oil in the machine. I use Kawasaki brand. This is the old school bottle. I had a couple left over from the last oil change. 4-stroke full synthetic, Kawasaki brand, and a Kawasaki engine. That's how I did it. Here's the new style bottle. Same thing, just a little different color. Owner's manual says it takes 4.8 quarts with oil filter change. 4 quarts in. This is how I do it with a long funnel. We're going to start the machine to fill up the oil filter just for a couple seconds so the light goes out. Here's the window, and then we'll top it off. Here's your oil fill window. Here is your low mark. Here is your high mark. You can see I've got the oil topped off now up to the high mark. Don't overfill. More is not better. Put the oil fill cap back on. Put both GV bags back on. All done. This will be my 41 video edits on the Campagna T-Rex. If you like these videos, subscribe, give me a thumbs up, and share. Thanks for watching.